So, what does it really take to survive that leap into executive engineering leadership? It's a pretty intense and, let's be honest, often misunderstood transition. Today on The Explainer, we're going to run the VPE Gauntlet and find out. Okay, let's just start with the single most important question you have to ask yourself. Because becoming a VPE isn't just another step up the ladder, it's a complete identity shift. Your main job is no longer solving cool technical problems, it's solving messy business problems.
So here are the 5 trials we're going to face in the gauntlet today. First up, we'll talk about going from a manager to a translator. Then how to play the political game and win. We'll also cover managing your C-level peers, building a culture that lasts, and finally, maybe the truest test of leadership, planning for who comes after you.
All right, first trial. And honestly, this is the biggest and for a lot of people, the absolute hardest part of this whole transition. You have to stop thinking like a manager and start acting like a translator. I mean, when you see it laid out like this, the difference is just, it's stark, right? Your focus completely flips. Your new job is to be that essential bridge. You're the one translating the high-level business chatter from the boardroom into a technical reality your team can actually build. And to actually be that bridge, you have to learn a whole new language. You've got to up-level every single conversation. So for instance, you're no longer just talking about the kind of servers your lab needs. You're discussing capital spending and how facilities costs are going to impact the company's ability to invest in a brand new product. It's a completely different altitude. Which brings us to a topic, a word really, that makes a lot of engineers kind of cringe: politics. But before you tune out, let's try to reframe it.
Yeah, forget the negative spin for a second. At its core, politics is just how decisions get made when you have a group of people. It's the process of working through conflicts with dialogue. As a leader, learning how to do this constructively, well, it isn't optional. It's how you actually get things done.
And I love this quote because it just nails the goal here. This isn't about manipulating people for your own gain. Real political skill is about understanding what your peers want, what their goals are, what motivates them. You know, if you can help the VP of marketing hit her goals, you build an ally for your goals. It's about finding that shared success. So the first step always is to play detective. Before you react to a conflict, you have to diagnose where it's coming from. Are your objectives actually out of sync? Is the real problem some unrealistic expectation that nobody ever wrote down? Or is it just a simple misunderstanding? How you respond depends entirely on that diagnosis. Okay, let's level up and step into the executive arena. Because at this level, your success depends just as much on managing the relationships with your peers as it does on managing your own team. If you want to avoid surprises and build real trust with the other execs, you've got to set some clear ground rules, like immediately. Everybody needs to know the process for making engineering commitments, exactly who on your team has the authority to actually make them, and, this is a big one, how confident you are in each one. Without this, you're basically just asking for future conflict. Here's another really powerful tactic for the executive suite. It's simple, but it works. If you're in a board meeting and someone asks you a question about sales, turn to the VP of sales and let them answer it. That simple act shows you respect their expertise, it reinforces clear boundaries, and it builds the kind of trust that's absolutely critical for a leadership team to function well. You know, beyond the projects and the people management, your most lasting impact as a VPE, your real legacy, is going to be the culture you create. So take a look at these 2 columns. Be honest with yourself. Which side does your team's environment really fall on? Is it a meritocracy built on transparency and accountability? Or is it a place where, who you know matters more than what you do? Every single decision you make pushes that culture one way or the other. A huge piece of building a resilient culture is diversity, because when you have a team where everyone has the same background and thinks the same way, you create a monoculture with enormous blind spots. That's why building a team with different perspectives isn't just some metric to hit, it is your single best defense against groupthink. And now we've reached the final challenge in the gauntlet. It's a big one, and it's one that many leaders either forget or maybe they actively try to avoid it: planning for their own replacement. So why is this so critical? Because the clock is ticking way faster than you think. 1 to 2 years, that's it. That's the average tenure for a VP. Whether you get promoted, move on, or flame out, the odds are really high you won't be in this role for long. And that fact alone turns succession planning from a nice-to-have into a super urgent day 1 priority.
And look, by identifying and developing the people who could replace you, you're not only making sure the team will be stable, but you're also saving yourself from becoming indispensable and getting trapped in your role. Having someone ready to step up makes it so much easier to negotiate your own next move. It's about empowering others, and by doing that, you empower yourself.
Ultimately, your success isn't just measured by the products you ship or the growth you oversee. The final test is right here. Who have you built up to carry the work forward when you're gone? Now that is the mark of a true leader.